Welcome to the lecture on personal economics. This lecture is actually part of two lectures which are talking on the internal dynamics of a workforce of a company. Up to now, actually, our main interest was the market, and we were looking to everything else, including productivity, efficiency, things like that. From the perspective of the market, although labor, the function of labor is not limited to the market in economics. Actually, the labor is doing the actual production also. Well, these two parts are actually the parts where the aim is going further than market. So, I mean, going looking to what happens after the market process is done, or buying selling process is done. Although it connects, I mean, it has connections with the market also. I mean, the buying and selling process. Mainly, I mean, the productivity of workers within the company is also is the main focus on, and internal dynamics of the workforce is also another focus. So the first part, personal economics, is basically on different policies that makes the workers of a company more productive or less productive. And monetary focus is basically the main focus. In the second lecture, which is on the internal labor markets, basically the type of companies where promotions are done using internal labor force is taken into account, and the dynamic between the internal labor force and external labor force in filling different job positions will be discussed. Of course, then we also go kind of beyond the initial process of buying and selling labor power of the company and the worker. At least the initial entry of the worker to the company. Let's start, and the first video is actually an interesting video. We won't talk on what this video is telling you. So in that sense, I mean, the video is different from the what the mainstream labor economics is taken as relative factors that are affecting production, or methods that companies are using to increase the productivity. Usually, I mean, money is used as an incentive to increase productivity, but the video shows that, I mean, under certain conditions, money is not a good mental incentives are not good way to increase the productivity, and that's basically because mental incentives are making people concentrate on easy solutions, but creativity needs people looking to out of box. I mean, not so obvious solutions should also be taken into account. However, monetary incentives always incentivize people to look for solutions as easy as possible, especially if they are provided to people who are fastest, for example, or who do most of, for example, carrying something. I mean, in this case, fast. You'll see actually the how this view is shown, kind of proven even in this video. And also, interestingly, there are other incentives like creativity. I mean, mastery, being master of some work, or autonomy, being able to decide how to work or what to work on, and the one's purpose, I mean, knowing for what purpose you are doing something. Those things are also motivating people, especially after a certain amount of monetary revenue is gained by the people. These become more important motivators after the threshold income level is reached, basically. Watch the video, and it's really interesting. I mean, discussion is also on that, and you can also discuss the issue. Okay, I stop for a few seconds. You can pause. Okay, you can continue. I assume you have watched the video or decide to skip it. If you decide that, that's also okay. We can continue. So I put here a door that is opening because up to this point, what happened after the buying and selling process, especially during the production process, was actually something not that clear. We see workers and the producers, while they're doing buying and selling. Of course, we have seen, I mean, the consideration of the producer, where we have, of course, seen the potential revenue producer would assume worker would bring, but we didn't see, I mean, what are the conditions, factors affecting the productivity of worker within the except maybe education that is taken, which also we also see within the boundaries of the market. But what are the internal conditions, internal factors that are affecting productivity of workers during the production process, and the way the production process is actually functioning in an economy? And production process is actually part of the economic system. The economic system is not only exchange, basically, but unfortunately, even in labor economics, where it is very close to production, the production side of the economy is ignored to some extent. It is seen as, I mean, a black box. I mean, it produces everything enters and exits from the production process, and we are just interested in what is entering and exiting, basically, and how market itself affects what is entering and exiting from the production process. So here we are trying to a little bit open the door, secret door of the production process, not open all the way. Maybe a crack, and we are still looking from this small crack. And see some potential answers and more questions, basically. At the very beginning point, the main assumptions are workers will have incentive to work as little as possible to get highest wage. We assume work doesn't give any utility to the workers, and employers will be willing to get highest performance with smaller possible wage. So interest of worker and interest of employer in that sense contradicts. Of course, the employer has the process, employers get the benefits of the production. Worker, in a traditional setting at least, gets just wage, a fixed wage, and nothing out of production. So that's why he is not interested, or she is not interested in producing more, because if he or she produces more, that the more thing that is produced won't belong to him or her. So we might think kind of the workplace as a big game theory ground where workers and employers play a game with each other. Although employers might look to seem to have the upper hand, they are the ones that are setting condition of the wage. I mean, they decide what is the job, and what is its wage, what is the performance level it requires if they define it, or they might define another way for different payments for different performance levels. They will choose which workers they hire, and they can fire the workers when they don't work as hard. So they have control. But workers are the ones that are doing the task, and they can also work with each other. So in a way, I mean, the employers are more distant from the actual work, and workers have, even the most unskilled workers have more knowledge, more ability to, let's say, control the working ground to some extent. And in some cases, if workers work together, I mean, that control might reach to relatively high levels. An example might be my instructor in labor economics in university who taught actually in the California. There was a factory he talked about where in an assembly line where there's a belt moving, they had created a resting place, and that resting place is actually whenever they put the box horizontal like this. In that case, there should be a worker at that place to just move the box. But if they put it diagonal, shift a little bit, the belt itself moves the box into the right direction. So whenever there are inspectors, they put the box right, I mean horizontally, so that basically inspectors will think that it is necessary to have someone in that place to turn the box. But whenever inspectors go out, they just again start to put the box horizontally, diagonally. And there is some electronic device in the box, and everyone is actually doing something on that, adding some part to the electronic device inside of the box. So workers might, as I said, whenever if they work together, they might have significant power to using their knowledge of the workplace. So the one interesting aspect is, in that sense, an ideal employer might not work their workers to cooperate too much, because in that case they can work together for their collective interests, which at the very least might be, as I said, get highest wage and work as little as possible. However, a particular level of cooperation is still necessary also to have productivity, because they are working together, and the productivity of workers also depends on how much they work together, and also sharing experience and knowledge, I mean, especially with the newcomers. So too much cooperation is not that good, but too little cooperation is also not that good. So finding that balance is not always easy for an employer. Okay. So competition between the workers in that sense might also be, in some ways, better to increase productivity and kind of also break down cooperation between workers. But it might also make people sabotage each other, and also workers might actually put some effort to be seen as the best worker. So just working hard is not enough to be seen as the best worker. So you also need to put some effort to be seen as the best worker. So next time we will continue to this lecture.